Have you ever stopped to wonder why your mind feels like a battlefield? One moment you're filled with clarity and purpose, as if guided by something far greater than yourself. The next, doubt creeps in, loud, chaotic, relentless. It whispers lies, plants fears, and leaves you questioning every decision. Does this sound familiar? If it does, take a deep breath. You're not alone. Every single person on this planet wrestles with the same internal struggle, distinguishing between their own thoughts and what many call the voice of God. But here's the truth. You hold the power to untangle this confusion. And by the end of this video, you'll walk away with tools so transformative that they could reshape how you navigate life forever. Stay with me until the very last word, because I promise what you discover will change everything. Now, let's dive deeper into why this matters so much. Think about it. How often do we make decisions based purely on emotion or fear? We second-guess ourselves, overanalyze situations, and spiral into endless cycles of what-ifs. This mental chaos isn't just exhausting, it keeps us stuck. Stuck in patterns of self-doubt, procrastination, and missed opportunities. Why? Because when we can't tell the difference between our own noisy thoughts and divine guidance, we lose access to the wisdom that truly sets us free. Imagine being able to silence the noise once and for all. Imagine knowing exactly which voice to trust when faced with uncertainty. That's the kind of freedom we're talking about today. At its core, this battle inside your mind is universal. Human psychology teaches us that our brains are wired for survival, constantly scanning for threats and preparing for worst-case scenarios. That's where those negative, critical voices come from, the ones telling you that you're not good enough, smart enough, or brave enough. These thoughts aren't evil. They're simply part of your brain's protective mechanism. But here's the catch. While these voices might intend to keep you safe, they often hold you back from living fully. They trap you in a cage of limitations, convincing you to play small instead of stepping boldly into the greatness waiting for you. On the other hand, there's another presence within you, a quiet but profound force that speaks differently. Call it intuition, higher guidance, or God's voice. It doesn't matter what label you use. What matters is recognizing its qualities. Unlike the frantic chatter of your mind, this voice is calm, steady, and unwavering. It doesn't shout, it gently nudges. It doesn't push you toward fear, it pulls you toward love. When you listen closely, it aligns perfectly with your highest good, offering direction that feels expansive rather than constricting. This is the voice that reminds you of your worth, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. It's the whisper that says, keep going, when everyone else tells you to give up. Why does this distinction matter so deeply? Because the voice you choose to follow shapes the life you create. Think about it. Every choice, every action, every step forward is driven by the guidance you trust. When you listen to fear-based thoughts, you shrink. You hesitate. You settle for less than you deserve because your mind convinces you that playing it safe is the only way to survive. But when you align yourself with a higher source of wisdom, something incredible happens. You begin to move with purpose. Your decisions feel lighter, clearer, and more intentional. It's not just about avoiding mistakes. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that's braver, wiser, and unshakably grounded in truth. And isn't that what we all want? To live a life that feels authentic, meaningful, and aligned with who we truly are? This isn't just philosophy. It's rooted in human psychology. Studies show that our brains have two modes of operation, reactive and reflective. The reactive mode is where most of us spend our time, jumping to conclusions, reacting impulsively, and letting emotions dictate our actions. This is the space where your own thoughts dominate, often steering you away from growth. But the reflective mode? That's where transformation happens. In this state, you pause, observe, and connect with something deeper within yourself. This is the space where divine guidance thrives. When you learn to access this reflective state, you tap into a wellspring of strength and insight that can guide you through even the toughest challenges. Now, consider the cost of ignoring this inner compass. How many dreams have been abandoned because fear spoke louder than faith? How many relationships have suffered because insecurity overshadowed love? Every time you let your own chaotic thoughts take the wheel, you drift further from the path meant for you. But here's the beautiful part. You always have a choice. You can decide right now to stop giving power to the noise and start tuning in to the quiet whispers of truth. It's not about silencing your thoughts entirely. It's about learning to discern which ones serve you and which ones don't. Imagine standing at a crossroads, unsure of which direction to take. On one side, there's a voice urging caution, reminding you of past failures and potential risks. On the other, there's a gentle pull towards something unknown but undeniably magnetic. One path keeps you safe but stagnant. The other demands courage but promises growth. Which will you choose? The answer lies in recognizing that the voice of fear seeks to protect you from pain, while the voice of faith seeks to propel you toward purpose. And deep down, you already know which one leads to fulfillment. The journey to clarity begins with a single question. Who am I listening to right now? Are you hearing the echoes of doubt and limitation, or are you attuned to the steady rhythm of guidance that knows your highest potential? The more you practice asking this question, the easier it becomes to identify the source of the messages you receive. Over time, you'll notice patterns. Fear-based thoughts tend to be repetitive, harsh, and focused on lack. Divine guidance, on the other hand, feels expansive, compassionate, and rooted in possibility. It lifts you up instead of tearing you down. It invites you to trust instead of resist. So why wait any longer to embrace this clarity? The life you've been searching for, the one filled with peace, purpose, and joy, is waiting for you to claim it. All it takes is the willingness to listen differently. What does it feel like to be consumed by the chaos of your own mind? Picture this. You're lying awake at night, replaying conversations in your head, questioning every word you said, or maybe you're staring at a blank screen, frozen by the weight of perfectionism, unable to take even one small step forward. This isn't just overthinking. It's a storm that leaves you exhausted, drained, and disconnected from the very essence of who you are. And yet, here's the truth. The noise isn't your enemy. It's a signal, a reminder that somewhere beneath the turbulence lies a stillness waiting to guide you home. But how do you find that calm when the chaos feels so loud? The first step is understanding that these overwhelming thoughts don't define you. They're fleeting, temporary, and often irrational. Human psychology tells us that our minds are wired to focus on problems because solving them once helped our ancestors survive. But today, this survival mechanism can trap us in a cycle of negativity. Instead of protecting us, it keeps us stuck, replaying worst-case scenarios and amplifying our fear. The good news? Awareness is power. When you realize that these thoughts aren't facts but simply mental habits, you begin to loosen their grip on your life. You start seeing them for what they truly are. Background noise, not commands. Now, imagine stepping back from the chaos and observing it without judgment. What would happen if, instead of fighting the noise, you acknowledged it and let it pass like clouds drifting across the sky? This simple shift changes everything. It creates space, a sacred pause where clarity can emerge. In that space, you'll find something remarkable, a voice that doesn't demand attention but gently invites it, a voice that speaks not through force, but through whispers of peace and reassurance. This is the moment when you realize the chaos wasn't meant to control you. It was meant to lead you towards something greater. But here's the hard part: silence scares us. We've become so accustomed to the constant hum of activity in our minds that when it quiets, we feel uneasy. Yet it's in that quiet that the answers lie. Think about the times when you felt most certain about a decision or most connected to your purpose. Chances are those moments came not during frantic thinking, but in moments of stillness. Whether it was during a walk in nature, a deep breath before speaking, or a quiet prayer, the guidance you needed arrived when you stopped trying to force it. That's no coincidence. It's how the universe works. It speaks clearest when we stop drowning out its message with our own noise. So, how do you begin to embrace this stillness? Start small. Give yourself permission to unplug, even if only for a few minutes each day. Turn off the distractions, close your eyes, and simply breathe. Let the thoughts come and go without attaching to them. Over time, this practice will train your mind to recognize the difference between the chaotic chatter and the steady, loving presence that's always there, patiently waiting for you to listen. Remember, the goal isn't to silence your thoughts forever. It's to create enough space to hear the voice that matters most. Because when you do, everything shifts. You'll move through life with a newfound sense of ease, trusting that the guidance you need is already within you, ready to light your path. What if the answers you've been searching for have been closer than you ever imagined? Think about the moments in your life when everything seemed to fall into place. Maybe it was a decision that felt inexplicably right, or a sudden clarity during a time of confusion. In those moments, didn't it feel as though something beyond you was guiding your steps? That's because it was. There's a presence within you, a quiet, unwavering force that knows far more than your conscious mind ever could. This is what many call divine guidance, and its voice is always there, patiently waiting for you to tune in. But how do you recognize it when it speaks? How do you separate it from the endless stream of thoughts that often cloud your judgment? The key lies in understanding its nature. Unlike the frantic, self-critical voices that dominate your mind, divine guidance doesn't push or pressure. It doesn't shout to be heard or demand immediate action. Instead, it flows gently, like a river carving its path through the landscape of your soul. It feels expansive, opening doors instead of closing them. It brings peace, even in the face of uncertainty. When you listen to this voice, you don't feel weighed down by fear or doubt. You feel lifted, inspired, and deeply connected to something greater than yourself. Consider this. Every time you followed a hunch that defied logic but turned out to be exactly what you needed, that was divine guidance at work. Every time you felt a surge of courage to take a leap of faith, even when the odds seemed stacked against you, that was the same force nudging you forward. It doesn't speak in grand declarations or dramatic signs. It speaks in whispers, in feelings, in subtle nudges that align with your highest good. And the more you learn to trust it, the clearer it becomes. But here's the challenge. Trusting this voice requires surrender. It asks you to let go of the need to control every detail, to release the grip of perfectionism, and to step into the unknown with faith. This isn't easy, especially when society tells us to rely on logic and evidence alone. Yet, human psychology shows us that intuition, the bridge to divine guidance, is a powerful tool we've overlooked. Studies reveal that our gut instincts are often more accurate than our rational minds, especially in high-stakes situations. Why? Because intuition taps into a deeper well of wisdom, one that bypasses fear and connects directly to truth. So how do you strengthen this connection? Start by paying attention to the moments when you feel an inner yes or no. Notice how your body responds, whether it's a sense of lightness and ease or a heaviness that signals resistance. These physical cues are your internal compass, pointing you toward alignment or warning you of missteps. Over time, you'll begin to trust these signals without second-guessing them. You'll realize that the answers you seek aren't outside of you, they're already within, waiting for you to acknowledge them. And here's the beauty of it all. When you choose to follow this guidance, you step into a rhythm that feels natural and effortless. Life begins to flow in ways you couldn't have predicted, bringing opportunities, relationships, and experiences that resonate with your truest self. The chaos fades, not because it disappears entirely, but because you've learned to rise above it. You've found a source of strength that no external circumstance can shake, and with it, a profound sense of purpose. Remember, this journey isn't about achieving perfection. It's about embracing progress. Each time you pause to listen, each time you choose faith over fear, you move closer to living a life guided by love rather than limitation. And as you continue, you'll discover that the voice you once doubted is, in fact, your greatest ally. What happens when you finally stop chasing answers and start trusting the process? There's a profound shift that occurs when you let go of the need to have everything figured out. It's as if the universe breathes a sigh of relief, whispering, "Finally, you're ready." In those moments of surrender, something extraordinary unfolds. Clarity begins to emerge from the chaos. You realize that the answers you've been desperately seeking aren't meant to come all at once. They arrive in pieces, like rays of sunlight breaking through a stormy sky, illuminating your path one step at a time. And here's the secret. Those steps are always guided by something far wiser than your own mind. This is where the beauty of divine guidance truly shines. It doesn't hand you a map with every detail laid out. Instead, it offers small, subtle signs that nudge you forward when you're willing to pay attention. A chance conversation with a stranger, a random thought that lingers longer than it should, a feeling of certainty about a decision that makes no logical sense. These aren't coincidences. They're invitations. Invitations to trust, to move, to believe in the unseen forces working on your behalf. When you accept these invitations, life begins to feel less like a puzzle you're trying to solve and more like a dance you're learning to enjoy. But here's the truth. Following this guidance isn't always easy. It requires patience, especially in a world that values instant results. Think about how often you've dismissed a quiet inner knowing because you wanted immediate proof or validation. Maybe you ignored that persistent pull toward a new opportunity because it didn't align with your 5-year plan. Or perhaps you talked yourself out of pursuing a dream because it felt too risky or unconventional. Yet looking back, haven't some of your greatest breakthroughs come from taking leaps of faith, even when the outcome wasn't guaranteed? This is where courage becomes your greatest ally. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to act despite it. Human psychology teaches us that fear thrives on uncertainty, but so does growth. Every time you choose to listen to the whispers of divine guidance over the shouts of doubt, you expand your capacity for resilience and trust. You prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. And with each step, your confidence grows, not in your ability to control life, but in your ability to navigate it with grace and intention. Now, imagine what it would feel like to live without constantly second-guessing yourself, to wake up each day knowing that you're exactly where you're meant to be, even if the road ahead isn't perfectly clear. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a mindset rooted in faith. Faith that the universe has your back. Faith that the voice guiding you knows the way even when you can't see it yet. Faith that every challenge, every detour, and every moment of discomfort is part of a larger plan designed to shape you into the person you're meant to become. So how do you cultivate this kind of faith? Start by celebrating the small victories along the way. Did you make a decision based on intuition rather than fear? Celebrate it. Did you notice a sign or synchronicity that confirmed you were on the right path? Acknowledge it. These moments may seem insignificant, but they're building blocks of trust. Over time, they create a foundation so strong that even the toughest storms can't shake it. Remember, the journey to recognizing divine guidance isn't about reaching a final destination. It's about embracing the unfolding. Each step you take brings you closer to a life filled with purpose, peace, and possibility. And as you continue to trust the process, you'll find that the voice you once struggled to hear becomes the steady rhythm guiding your every move. What does it mean to truly trust yourself? At its core, trust isn't just about believing in your abilities or decisions. It's about believing in the unseen forces that guide you. It's about knowing deep down that even when you can't see the full picture, there's a greater plan unfolding. This kind of trust doesn't come from external validation or proof. It comes from within. It grows when you choose to honor the quiet nudges and intuitive hits that rise above the noise of fear and doubt. And while this might sound simple, it's one of the hardest things we'll ever do because it requires us to let go of control. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the tight grip we have on how things should happen and allowing life to flow as it's meant to. Human psychology shows us that our need for certainty often stems from a desire to protect ourselves from pain or failure. But here's the paradox. Clinging too tightly to what we think we want actually blocks us from receiving what we truly need. When you release the pressure to figure everything out, something magical happens. You create space for miracles. Opportunities show up unexpectedly. Solutions appear when you least expect them. Life begins to feel less like a battle and more like a gift. Think about the times in your life when you resisted change because it felt uncomfortable or unfamiliar. Maybe you stayed in a job that no longer fulfilled you because it was safe. Or perhaps you avoided taking a risk because the thought of failing felt unbearable. But then something shifted. Whether it was through divine guidance or sheer necessity, you took a step forward. And looking back, you realized that moment of discomfort was the turning point you needed all along. That's the power of surrender. It's not about weakness, it's about strength. Strength to trust that even in uncertainty, you are being led toward growth. Now imagine carrying this mindset into every area of your life. Imagine approaching challenges not with dread, but with curiosity. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What is this teaching me?" This subtle shift changes everything. It transforms obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into stepping stones. Suddenly, you're no longer fighting against life, you're flowing with it. You begin to see that every experience, no matter how difficult, has a purpose. And the voice guiding you through it all becomes clearer with each passing day. But here's the truth. Building this level of trust takes practice. It's not something that happens overnight. Start by noticing where resistance shows up in your life. Where do you feel stuck? What fears are holding you back? Once you identify these areas, lean into them. Not to fix them immediately, but to understand them. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What would happen if I trusted myself enough to move forward anyway? These questions open doors you didn't even know existed. They invite you to explore possibilities beyond what your rational mind can comprehend. And as you take those first courageous steps, remember this: you don't have to have everything figured out to keep moving. Progress doesn't demand perfection. It simply asks for faith, one small action at a time. Each time you choose to listen to the voice within instead of the doubts around you, you reinforce your connection to something greater. You remind yourself that you are never alone, even in your darkest moments. There's always a light guiding you forward, even if it feels distant at times. So, how will you show up today? Will you allow fear to dictate your choices, or will you trust the whispers calling you toward expansion? The decision is yours, and it starts with a single step. A step away from hesitation and toward hope. A step away from limitation and toward limitless potential. Because when you choose to trust, not just yourself, but the divine wisdom guiding you, you unlock a life filled with meaning, purpose, and infinite possibility. What does it take to turn moments of doubt into stepping stones for growth? It begins with a choice, a decision to see every challenge not as a wall, but as a bridge. Life will always present us with situations that test our resolve, moments when the voice of fear tries to drown out the whispers of faith. But here's the secret. These are the moments where transformation happens. Growth doesn't come from avoiding discomfort. It comes from embracing it, learning to dance with the uncertainty instead of running from it. And when you master this art, you unlock a level of strength and clarity that changes everything. Think about how a diamond is formed. It starts as nothing more than carbon, buried deep beneath the Earth's surface. But under immense pressure and heat, something extraordinary happens. It becomes one of the strongest, most radiant creations in existence. Your life works the same way. The pressures you face, the doubts, fears, and setbacks are not meant to break you. They are meant to refine you, shaping you into a version of yourself that shines brighter than ever before. Every time you rise above adversity, you prove to yourself that you're capable of enduring far more than you thought possible. But here's the catch. Endurance alone isn't enough. To truly grow, you must also learn to listen, to pay attention to the lessons hidden within each challenge. Human psychology shows us that people who thrive in difficult circumstances aren't necessarily stronger or smarter than others. What sets them apart is their ability to find meaning in the struggle. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this? How is this experience preparing me for what's next? These questions shift the narrative, turning pain into purpose and hardship into hope. Now imagine approaching every obstacle with this mindset. Imagine viewing each setback not as a failure but as feedback, information designed to guide you toward your highest potential. When you adopt this perspective, Challenges lose their power to intimidate you. Instead, they become opportunities to recalibrate, to align more deeply with the divine wisdom guiding your path. You begin to trust that even the toughest moments are part of a greater plan, leading you exactly where you're meant to be. So, how do you cultivate this kind of resilience? Start by reframing the way you think about difficulty. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" This simple shift transforms your relationship with adversity. It invites you to look beyond the surface and uncover the gifts hidden within the struggle. Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's showing you the importance of self-compassion. Or maybe it's preparing you for a breakthrough you can't yet see. Whatever the lesson, trust that it's there and that it's worth discovering. And here's the beauty of it. Every time you choose to grow through a challenge, you create momentum. Each victory, no matter how small, builds on the last, creating a foundation of confidence and courage that carries you forward. Over time, you'll notice something incredible happening. You'll start to feel less afraid of uncertainty, not because it disappears, but because you've learned to trust yourself and the guidance you receive. You know that no matter what comes your way, you have the tools to navigate it with grace and strength. Remember, growth isn't linear. There will be days when doubt feels louder than faith, when the weight of the world seems impossible to carry, but even in those moments, you're still moving forward. Every step counts, even the ones that feel like stumbles, because here's the truth. The journey itself is the destination. It's in the process of overcoming, learning, and evolving that you discover who you truly are. So how will you show up today? Will you let fear dictate your choices, or will you choose to rise above it? The answer lies in your willingness to embrace the challenges before you, not as burdens, but as blessings in disguise. Because when you do, you'll find that the very struggles you once feared are actually the forces propelling you toward greatness. What does it feel like to truly pause and listen? To silence the noise and let your soul speak? In a world that constantly demands more, faster, better, we often forget the power of stillness. We rush from one task to the next, filling every moment with activity, afraid that if we stop, we'll fall behind. But here's the truth. The answers you seek aren't found in the chaos. They're found in the quiet spaces between it. Stillness isn't laziness or avoidance, it's an act of courage. It's choosing to step away from the noise and create room for something deeper, something truer to emerge. Think about how often you've solved a problem or gained clarity after simply stepping back. Maybe it was during a long walk, a moment of prayer, or even just sitting in silence with your thoughts. In those moments, something remarkable happens. The frantic chatter in your mind begins to settle, and a calm, steady voice rises to the surface. This is the voice of divine guidance, the part of you that knows without needing proof. It doesn't shout to be heard. It waits patiently for you to stop long enough to notice. And when you do, everything shifts. But here's the challenge. Stillness requires trust. Trust that slowing down won't make you less productive, but more aligned. Trust that pausing won't cause you to miss out, but will lead you exactly where you need to go. Human psychology teaches us that our brains are wired to seek constant stimulation, making stillness feel uncomfortable at first. Yet this discomfort is a sign that you're doing something powerful. You're breaking free from the patterns that keep you stuck. You're creating space for transformation to take root. Now imagine what your life would look like if you made stillness a priority. Imagine starting each day not with a frantic scramble to check off tasks, but with a few moments of intentional quiet. What might you hear if you allowed yourself to simply be instead of always doing? Perhaps you'd discover a renewed sense of purpose. Maybe you'd uncover creative solutions to problems that once seemed unsolvable. Or maybe you'd simply feel more grounded, more connected to yourself and the world around you. Whatever arises, it will always guide you closer to your truth. So, how do you begin to embrace stillness in a world that glorifies busyness? Start small. Carve out just 5 minutes a day to sit in silence. Turn off distractions, your phone, the TV, anything that pulls your attention outward, and focus inward. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what do I need to hear right now? Don't force an answer, simply listen. Over time, these moments of stillness will become sacred rituals, anchors that keep you centered no matter how turbulent life becomes. And here's the beautiful part. Stillness doesn't just benefit you, it ripples outward, touching everyone around you. When you take the time to connect with your inner wisdom, you show up differently in the world. You speak with greater authenticity, act with more intention, and lead with compassion. Your presence alone becomes a source of peace for others, inspiring them to seek their own moments of quiet reflection. Remember, stillness isn't about escaping life, it's about engaging with it more fully. It's about giving yourself permission to slow down so you can move forward with purpose. Every time you choose to pause, you reaffirm your commitment to living a life guided by love rather than fear. You remind yourself that the answers you seek aren't outside of you, they're already within, waiting for you to create the space to hear them. Because here's the truth. When you embrace stillness, you align yourself with the rhythm of the universe. You stop fighting against the flow and start moving with it. And in doing so, you unlock a level of clarity and confidence that changes everything. So today, give yourself the gift of silence. Let go of the need to always be on, and trust that in the quiet, you'll find exactly what you've been searching for. What happens when you choose to trust the whispers of your soul over the noise of the world? It's a decision that changes everything, a shift from living reactively to living intentionally. When you align yourself with divine guidance, you step into a rhythm that feels natural, effortless, and deeply fulfilling. But here's the truth. This alignment doesn't happen overnight. It's cultivated through small, consistent actions that reinforce your connection to something greater than yourself. Each time you pause to listen, each time you act on faith instead of fear, you strengthen the bond between your heart and the wisdom that guides it. Think about how a seed grows into a tree. At first, it's fragile, hidden beneath the soil, requiring care and patience before it breaks through the surface. But with time, sunlight, and nourishment, it becomes strong and unshakable, reaching toward the sky. Your journey is no different. Every moment of stillness, every act of trust, is like water for your soul. It nurtures the seeds of faith planted within you, helping them grow into roots that anchor you firmly in your purpose. And as those roots deepen, you'll find yourself standing tall, even in the face of life's fiercest storms. But here's the key. Growth requires action. Stillness and reflection are essential, but they must be paired with movement. Divine guidance isn't meant to keep you stagnant. It's meant to propel you forward. Have you ever felt a gentle nudge to take a step? Whether it was starting a new project, reaching out to someone, or simply changing the way you approach a situation, that's the universe inviting you to participate in your own transformation. When you respond to these nudges, you demonstrate your willingness to co-create with something greater. You show up as an active participant in your life rather than a passive observer. Now imagine what it would feel like to live this way consistently. Imagine waking up each day with a sense of clarity and direction, knowing that every choice you make is guided by love and truth. Fear may still arise, it's part of being human, but it no longer controls you. Instead, you use it as a signal to pause, reconnect, and reaffirm your trust in the path ahead. Over time, this practice transforms not only how you navigate challenges, but also how you experience joy. Life begins to feel less like a series of random events and more like a beautifully orchestrated journey designed just for you. So, how do you stay aligned with this higher guidance? Start by setting intentions. Before you begin your day, take a moment to ask yourself, what energy do I want to bring into the world today? How can I serve my highest purpose? These questions set the tone for your actions, ensuring that you move through life with purpose rather than autopilot. Then, throughout the day, check in with yourself. Are your choices reflecting the intentions you set? If not, gently course correct without judgment. Remember, alignment is a practice, not a destination. And here's the beauty of it. The more you trust and act on divine guidance, the easier it becomes to recognize it. The voice grows clearer, the signs more obvious, and the path more illuminated. You'll start noticing synchronicities, those seemingly coincidental moments that feel too perfect to ignore. A chance meeting, a timely message, or an unexpected opportunity all become reminders that you're exactly where you're meant to be. These moments aren't accidents. They're affirmations that you're walking in harmony with the universe. Because here's the truth. When you commit to following divine guidance, You tap into a source of infinite possibility. You stop trying to force outcomes and instead allow life to unfold naturally. This doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for things to happen. It means taking inspired action, trusting that every step you take is leading you closer to your dreams. And as you continue down this path, you'll realize that success isn't defined by external achievements, but by the peace and fulfillment you feel along the way. To listen, to trust, and to act. To honor the quiet voice within that knows the way, even when the road ahead seems uncertain. Because when you do, you'll discover that the journey itself is the greatest reward, a testament to the power of faith, courage, and unwavering belief in who you are and what you're capable of becoming. What does it mean to truly embrace the process of becoming? Life isn't about arriving at a final destination. It's about the journey of growth, the constant unfolding of who you are and who you're meant to be. Every step you take, every challenge you face, and every moment of stillness you create is part of this sacred process. It's not always easy, and it's rarely linear, but it's deeply worth it. Because here's the truth. Transformation doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when you lean into discomfort with faith and courage. Think about how rivers carve through mountains. They don't rush or force their way. They flow steadily, shaping the world around them with patience and persistence. Your life mirrors this rhythm. The changes you seek won't come all at once, but they will come if you remain consistent in your efforts. Each small act of trust, whether it's listening to divine guidance, taking an inspired step, or simply showing up as your authentic self, contributes to the bigger picture. Over time, these acts compound, creating shifts so profound that you'll look back and marvel at how far you've come. But here's the challenge. Embracing the process means letting go of perfectionism. It's tempting to want everything to fall into place immediately, to crave instant results and validation. Yet, human psychology teaches us that real growth comes from embracing imperfection. Studies show that people who focus on progress rather than perfection experience greater fulfillment and resilience. When you release the pressure to get it right every time, you free yourself to experiment, to stumble, and to rise again with even more wisdom. You begin to see mistakes not as failures, but as stepping stones toward mastery. Now imagine walking through life with this mindset. Imagine approaching each day not with the expectation of perfection, but with the commitment to growth. How would it feel to wake up knowing that every action, no matter how small, contributes to your evolution? Maybe it's choosing kindness over frustration in a difficult conversation. Maybe it's trusting your intuition when logic says otherwise. Or maybe it's simply giving yourself grace when things don't go as planned. These moments may seem insignificant, but they're the threads weaving together the tapestry of your life. So how do you stay committed to the process without losing heart? Start by celebrating the little victories along the way. Did you listen to your inner voice today instead of ignoring it? Celebrate that. Did you take one small step toward a dream, even if it felt scary? Acknowledge it. These moments of recognition remind you that progress isn't just about grand gestures. It's about the quiet, consistent choices that shape your reality. Over time, they build a foundation of confidence and trust, proving to yourself that you're capable of far more than you ever imagined. And here's the beauty of it. The process itself becomes its own reward. When you stop fixating on the end goal and start savoring the journey, life feels richer, fuller, and more meaningful. You begin to notice the lessons hidden in every experience. The strength gained from adversity, the joy found in connection, and the peace that comes from aligning with your true self. Each moment becomes an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to love more deeply. Because here's the truth, you are already enough, exactly as you are. But you're also a work in progress, constantly evolving into a higher version of yourself. This duality is what makes life so beautiful. It invites you to honor where you are while striving for where you want to be. It reminds you that growth isn't about fixing yourself. It's about uncovering the brilliance that's been within you all along. Trust that every twist and turn is leading you closer to your purpose. And remember, you don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. Progress is built one imperfect step at a time, and each step brings you closer to the extraordinary life you're creating. Keep going. You're doing better than you think. What would it feel like to know that you're never truly alone on this journey? There's a profound comfort in realizing that the voice guiding you isn't just your own. It's something far greater, something infinite and unwavering. It's easy to feel isolated when life gets tough, as though the weight of the world rests solely on your shoulders. But here's the truth. You are surrounded by love, support, and wisdom beyond what you can see. Whether you call it divine guidance, universal energy, or simply the collective strength of those who've walked before you, it's there, always ready to lift you up if you're willing to reach out. Think about the people who have inspired you along the way. Maybe it was a mentor who believed in you when you doubted yourself, a friend who listened without judgment during your hardest days, or even stories of resilience from strangers that reminded you of your own strength. These connections, whether direct or distant, remind us that we're part of something bigger than ourselves. Human psychology shows us that community and shared experiences fuel our ability to persevere. Knowing that others have faced similar struggles and overcome them gives us hope and courage to keep going. And while these external supports matter deeply, the most powerful connection lies within, the understanding that you're never walking this path alone. But here's the key. Recognizing this presence requires surrender. It asks you to release the belief that you must carry everything by yourself, and instead trust that help is always available if you're open to receiving it. This doesn't mean giving up responsibility. It means allowing yourself to be supported. Imagine how freeing it would feel to let go of the need to control every detail and instead lean into the flow of life, trusting that the universe has your back. When you do, you'll find that solutions come more easily, burdens feel lighter, and challenges become opportunities for growth rather than sources of fear. Now imagine living with this awareness every day. Imagine waking up knowing that no matter what happens, you're held by forces greater than yourself. How might that change the way you approach difficulties? Instead of seeing obstacles as insurmountable walls, you'd view them as invitations to deepen your faith and expand your perspective. You'd stop asking, why is this happening, and start asking, what am I meant to learn? This shift transforms not only how you navigate challenges, but also how you experience life itself. Suddenly, you're no longer fighting against the current, you're flowing with it. So, how do you cultivate this sense of connection and trust? Start by practicing gratitude for the unseen support around you. Take a moment each day to acknowledge the ways life conspires in your favor, even in small ways. A canceled meeting that gave you time to rest. A kind word from a stranger when you needed it most. These moments may seem coincidental, but they're reminders that you're being guided and cared for. Over time, this practice strengthens your awareness of the divine presence working behind the scenes, helping you stay grounded in faith rather than fear. And here's the beauty of it. The more you trust in this support, the more it shows up for you. It's like a dance. The more you move with it, the more harmoniously it leads you. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen your relationship with this higher power. Every victory a testament to its unwavering guidance. You begin to see that you're not just surviving life, you're thriving within it, carried forward by a force that loves you unconditionally and wants nothing more than to see you shine. Because here's the truth, you were never meant to walk this path alone. The universe conspires to guide you, protect you, and remind you of your worth, even when you forget it yourself. So today, take a moment to pause and feel the presence surrounding you. Let it fill you with peace, courage, and the unshakable knowing that no matter where you are or what you're facing, you are loved, you are supported, and you are exactly where you need to be. Keep moving forward, one step at a time, and trust that you'll never take those steps alone. What does it take to keep moving forward when the road feels uncertain? It's not about having all the answers. It's about trusting the process, even when you can't see the finish line. Life has a way of testing our resolve, pushing us to the edge of what we think we can handle. But here's the truth. Growth happens in those moments when we choose to keep going, even when progress feels slow or invisible. Perfection isn't the goal, persistence is. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the life you're building, a life rooted in purpose, faith, and unwavering determination. Think about how seeds grow beneath the soil for days, weeks, or even months. There's no visible sign of life, yet beneath the surface something extraordinary is happening. Roots are forming, reaching deeper into the earth, preparing for the moment they'll break through and rise toward the sun. Your journey mirrors this process. The work you're doing now, even if it feels unseen or uncelebrated, is laying the foundation for something incredible. Trust that every effort matters, every act of faith contributes, and every ounce of courage counts, even if the results aren't immediate. But here's the challenge. Staying committed requires patience. In a world obsessed with instant results, waiting can feel unbearable. We want proof that our hard work is paying off, validation that we're on the right path. Yet, human psychology teaches us that lasting change takes time. Studies show that people who focus on consistent, incremental progress achieve far more than those chasing quick fixes. When you embrace the idea that transformation is a gradual process, you free yourself from the pressure to hurry up. You give yourself permission to move at your own pace, honoring the unique rhythm of your journey. Now imagine walking through life with this mindset. Imagine approaching each day not with the expectation of dramatic breakthroughs, but with the commitment to showing up fully, regardless of external outcomes. How would it feel to release the need for constant validation and instead trust that your efforts are creating momentum? Maybe it's choosing to speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Maybe it's taking one more step toward a dream that feels impossibly far away. Or maybe it's simply reminding yourself that today's small victories are paving the way for tomorrow's big wins. These moments may seem ordinary, but they're the building blocks of extraordinary lives. So, how do you stay motivated when progress feels elusive? Start by focusing on the things within your control. Can't change the outcome overnight? Focus on the next right action. Feeling overwhelmed by the bigger picture? Break it down into smaller, manageable steps. Celebrate the process itself, the discipline, the resilience, the courage it takes to keep going. Over time, these habits create a sense of empowerment, reminding you that you have the power to shape your reality, one choice at a time. And here's the beauty of it. Persistence changes you. It builds character, strengthens your faith, and deepens your trust in your ability to navigate whatever comes your way. Each time you choose to move forward despite uncertainty, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. You begin to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your purpose. And as you continue, you'll notice something remarkable. The road ahead starts to feel less daunting, not because it's easier, but because you've grown more resilient. Because here's the truth. Success isn't reserved for the lucky or the naturally gifted. It's built by those who refuse to give up. It's crafted through countless tiny actions, fueled by an unshakable belief that every step matters. So today, remind yourself why you started. Reconnect with the vision you're working toward and let it inspire you to take one more step, however small. Keep showing up, keep trusting, and keep believing. Not just in the destination, but in the person you're becoming along the way. You don't have to have everything figured out to keep moving forward. All you need is the willingness to try again, to rise after every fall, and to trust that every step is leading you exactly where you're meant to be. Progress isn't about perfection, it's about perseverance. And as long as you keep going, you're already winning. What does it mean to truly embrace the beauty of where you are right now? It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of more success, more clarity, more fulfillment, as if happiness is always just one step away. But here's the truth. Peace isn't found in the future. It's created in the present. When you learn to honor the journey, not just the destination, you unlock a level of joy and contentment that no external achievement can match. This isn't about settling or giving up on your dreams. It's about finding gratitude for the process, trusting that every moment has something to teach you. Think about how life unfolds in seasons, much like nature. There's a time for planting seeds, a time for growth, and a time for harvest. Each phase is essential, yet we often resist the ones that feel slow or challenging. We wish winter would hurry into spring, forgetting that rest and stillness are what make new beginnings possible. Your life works the same way. The moments that feel stagnant or difficult aren't wasted. They're preparing you for what's next. They're shaping you, strengthening you, and aligning you with the purpose you're striving toward. When you stop fighting these seasons and start embracing them, everything shifts. But here's the key. Embracing the present requires presence. It asks you to step out of autopilot and fully engage with the here and now. Human psychology shows us that mindfulness, the practice of being fully aware of the current moment, reduces stress, increases resilience, and enhances overall well-being. When you bring your attention to what's right in front of you, you begin to notice the blessings you might otherwise overlook. A shared laugh with a loved one, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the quiet satisfaction of completing a task, no matter how small. These moments may seem ordinary, but they're the threads that weave together a life worth living. Now imagine approaching each day with this awareness. Imagine waking up and choosing to see the sacredness in the everyday. How might that change the way you experience life? Instead of rushing through tasks, you'd savor them. Instead of waiting for some day to feel fulfilled, you'd find joy in the imperfect beauty of today. You'd stop viewing challenges as interruptions and start seeing them as integral parts of your story, opportunities to grow deeper roots and stronger wings. Over time, this mindset transforms not only how you see the world, but also how you see yourself. So how do you cultivate this sense of presence and gratitude? Start by grounding yourself in the now. Take a few moments each day to pause and simply be. Notice the sights, sounds, and sensations around you. Ask yourself, what am I grateful for in this exact moment? Don't wait for grand gestures or monumental achievements to feel thankful. Find joy in the little thing. Over time, this practice rewires your brain to focus on abundance rather than lack, helping you see the richness of your life exactly as it is. And here's the beauty of it. When you embrace the present, you create space for miracles to unfold. By letting go of the need to control outcomes, you open yourself to unexpected blessings and opportunities. You begin to trust that life is always conspiring in your favor, even when the path feels unclear. Every challenge becomes a chance to deepen your faith, every triumph a reminder of how far you've come. You realize that happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you choose, moment by moment, by appreciating the journey itself. Because the life you're building isn't just about the future, it's about who you're becoming along the way. Every step, every struggle, every victory contributes to the masterpiece you're creating. So today, take a moment to breathe, to notice, to appreciate. Trust that where you are is exactly where you need to be, and that the best way to honor your dreams is to live fully in the now. Keep moving forward, yes, but don't forget to celebrate the beauty of the ground beneath your feet. After all, it's the foundation of everything yet to come. What does it feel like to choose courage over comfort, even when the path ahead is unclear? It's in those moments of decision, the ones where fear whispers louder than faith, that your true strength is revealed. Life doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for effort. It doesn't demand that you have all the answers. It simply invites you to take one more step, however uncertain it may feel. And here's the truth. Every time you choose courage, you prove to yourself that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. You remind yourself that growth isn't reserved for the fearless. It's built by those who act despite their fears. Think about how a single match can light up an entire room. That tiny flame doesn't hesitate or doubt its ability to push back the darkness. It simply burns, steady and unwavering, transforming what once seemed overwhelming into something manageable. Your actions work the same way, even the smallest choices. To speak your truth, to trust your intuition, to keep going when giving up feels easier. Create ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. Over time, these acts of courage become the foundation of a life lived with purpose and authenticity. But here's the challenge. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward anyway. Human psychology teaches us that fear is a natural response to the unknown, a protective mechanism designed to keep us safe. Yet safety often keeps us small. When you allow fear to dictate your choices, you trade the possibility of growth for the illusion of security. But when you confront fear head-on, something incredible happens. You expand. You realize that the limits you've placed on yourself are not boundaries, but starting points. Each time you push past them, you redefine what's possible. Now, imagine living with this mindset every day. Imagine waking up knowing that no matter what challenges arise, you have the power to face them. Not because you're immune to fear, but because you refuse to let it control you. How might that change the way you approach life? Instead of shrinking from discomfort, you'd lean into it, trusting that it's leading you toward growth. Instead of waiting for confidence to appear before taking action, you'd understand that confidence is earned through action itself. Every step you take becomes proof that you're stronger than you thought, braver than you believed, and more resilient than you realized. So, how do you cultivate this kind of courage? Start by reframing fear. Instead of seeing it as a stop sign, view it as a signal, a reminder that you're stepping outside your comfort zone and into the territory where real transformation happens. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I try? And what's the best that could happen if I succeed? These questions shift your focus from limitation to possibility, empowering you to take action despite uncertainty. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to trust yourself and the divine guidance supporting you. And here's the beauty of it. Courage is contagious. Every time you choose to act boldly, you inspire others to do the same, whether it's a friend watching you pursue a dream, a loved one seeing you stand firm in your values, or even a stranger witnessing your resilience. Your courage has the power to ignite change far beyond your own life. You become a beacon of hope, proof that it's possible to rise above fear and create something extraordinary. Courage isn't just about big dramatic acts. It's about the quiet, consistent decisions to show up fully, even when it's hard. It's choosing faith over fear, love over doubt, and progress over perfection. So today, take one step, even if it feels small, even if it feels scary. Trust that every act of courage adds fuel to the fire within you, lighting the way forward not just for yourself, but for everyone whose lives you touch. Keep moving, keep believing, and remember, the bravest thing you can do is keep going, one courageous choice at a time. What does it mean to truly trust the journey even when you can't see the destination? It's about choosing faith over fear, even in moments when the road feels uncertain. Life is not a straight line. It twists, turns, and sometimes leads us down paths we didn't expect. But here's the truth. Every step you take is part of a greater design, a divine plan that unfolds in ways beyond your understanding. Trusting this process doesn't mean ignoring discomfort or pretending everything is perfect. It means believing that every experience, whether joyful or challenging, is shaping you into the person you're meant to become. Think about how rivers carve through mountains. They don't rush or force their way. They flow steadily, guided by the natural contours of the earth. Your life mirrors this rhythm. The challenges you face aren't obstacles meant to stop you. They're opportunities to refine your strength, deepen your resilience, and align more closely with your purpose. When you embrace this perspective, difficulties lose their power to intimidate you. Instead, they become stepping stones, guiding you toward growth and transformation. But here's the key. Trusting the journey requires surrender. It asks you to release the need to control every detail and instead lean into the flow of life. This doesn't mean giving up responsibility. It means allowing yourself to be guided by something greater than your own understanding. Imagine how freeing it would feel to let go of the pressure to figure it all out and instead trust that the universe is conspiring in your favor. When you do, you'll find that solutions come more easily, burdens feel lighter, and clarity emerges from chaos. You begin to see that you're not just navigating life, you're being carried forward by a force that loves you unconditionally. Now imagine walking through life with this mindset. Imagine approaching each day not with the expectation of perfection, but with the commitment to progress. How might that change the way you experience challenges? Instead of seeing them as setbacks, you'd view them as invitations to grow stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your true self. You'd stop asking, "Why is this happening?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" This shift transforms not only how you navigate difficulties, but also how you experience joy. Suddenly, life feels less like a series of random events and more like a beautifully orchestrated journey designed just for you. So, how do you cultivate this kind of trust? Start by practicing gratitude for the unseen support around you. Take a moment each day to acknowledge the ways life conspires in your favor, even in small ways. A canceled meeting that gave you time to rest, a kind word from a stranger when you needed it most. These moments may seem coincidental, but they're reminders that you're being guided and cared for. Over time, this practice strengthens your awareness of the divine presence working behind the scenes, helping you stay grounded in faith rather than fear. And here's the beauty of it. The more you trust the journey, the more it reveals its magic. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen your faith. Every victory a testament to your resilience. You begin to see that you're not just surviving life, you're thriving within it, carried forward by a force that loves you unconditionally and wants nothing more than to see you shine. You were never meant to walk this path alone. The universe conspires to guide you, protect you, and remind you of your worth, even when you forget it yourself. So today, take a moment to pause and feel the presence surrounding you. Let it fill you with peace, courage, and the unshakable knowing that no matter where you are or what you're facing, you are loved, you are supported, and you are exactly where you need to be. Keep moving forward one step at a time and trust that you'll never take those steps alone. What does it feel like to know that every step you take is part of something greater than yourself? It's a profound realization, one that shifts the way you see your life and your role in the world. When you begin to understand that your journey isn't just about personal success or fulfillment, but about contributing to a larger purpose, everything changes. You stop asking, "What's in it for me?" and start asking, "How can I serve?" This shift doesn't diminish your dreams, it elevates them. It transforms your goals from self-centered pursuits into acts of love, connection, and impact. Think about how a single candle can light up an entire room. Its flame doesn't hoard its light, it shares it freely, illuminating everything around it. Your presence works the same way. Every act of kindness, every moment of courage, every decision to show up authentically adds light to the lives of others. Human psychology shows us that when we focus on serving something beyond ourselves, whether it's our family, our community, or even a higher power, we experience deeper levels of fulfillment and meaning. Helping others doesn't just change their lives, it transforms ours, reminding us of the interconnectedness of all things. But here's the challenge. Serving others requires vulnerability. It asks you to step outside your comfort zone, to offer what you have without expecting anything in return. It's easy to get caught up in the mindset of scarcity, fearing that if you give too much, there won't be enough left for you. Yet the opposite is true. The more you give, the more you receive, not always in material ways, but in richness of spirit, joy, and purpose. When you pour your energy into lifting others, you create a ripple effect that comes back to you in unexpected and beautiful ways. Now imagine living with this mindset every day. Imagine waking up knowing that your actions, no matter how small, have the power to make someone's day brighter, their burden lighter, or their heart fuller. How might that change the way you approach life? Instead of focusing solely on your own goals, you look for opportunities to uplift those around you. Maybe it's offering a listening ear to a friend who's struggling. Maybe it's sharing your talents to inspire others. Or maybe it's simply choosing to lead with compassion in every interaction. These moments may seem small, but they're the threads that weave together a life of significance. So, how do you begin to live a life of service? Start by looking for ways to contribute, even in the simplest forms. Ask yourself, who needs my help today? How can I use my gifts to make a difference? Don't wait for grand opportunities. Start where you are with what you have. Over time, these acts of generosity become second nature, shaping you into someone who naturally seeks to give rather than take. And as you do, you'll notice something incredible happening. Your sense of purpose deepens. You begin to see that your life isn't just about achieving milestones. It's about touching hearts and leaving a legacy of love. And here's the beauty of it. When you serve others, you align yourself with something far greater than your individual desires. You tap into the flow of universal energy, where giving and receiving are one and the same. Every act of kindness becomes a prayer, every moment of connection a reflection of divine love. You realize that your purpose isn't separate from the world around you, it's intertwined with it. By lifting others, you rise higher yourself, because here's the truth. The most fulfilling life isn't one lived for personal gain, it's one lived for the greater good. When you dedicate yourself to serving others, you unlock a level of joy and peace that no external achievement can match. So today, take one step toward making someone else's life better. Trust that in doing so, you're not only honoring your purpose, but also creating a ripple effect of goodness that will come back to bless you in ways you can't yet imagine. Keep giving, keep loving, and remember, the greatest gift you can give the world is the best version of yourself. What does it mean to leave a legacy that outlasts your time on this earth? It's not about fame, wealth, or leaving behind monuments with your name etched into them. True legacy is found in the lives you touch, the love you share, and the impact you create, big or small. It's about planting seeds of kindness, wisdom, and hope that continue to grow long after you're gone. When you live with this perspective, every action becomes meaningful, every word carries weight, and every moment holds the potential to shape the future in ways you may never fully see. Think about how a single tree can change the landscape of an entire area. Its roots hold the soil together, its branches provide shelter, and its leaves purify the air. Even after the tree has lived its life, its presence continues to nourish the earth, giving life to new growth. Your life mirrors this process. The energy you put into the world, the compassion you show, the lessons you teach, the encouragement you offer, doesn't disappear when you're no longer here. It lingers, shaping the people around you and inspiring them to carry forward what you've started. But here's the key. Creating a legacy isn't something you do at the end of your life. It's something you build every single day. Human psychology teaches us that people who focus on contributing to others experience a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose. Studies show that those who prioritize relationships, community, and service report higher levels of happiness and satisfaction. Why? Because legacy isn't about what you accumulate, it's about what you give. It's about knowing that your existence mattered, not because of what you achieved for yourself, but because of how you made others feel. Now imagine walking through life with this awareness. Imagine waking up each day knowing that your actions have the power to ripple across generations. How might that change the way you live? Instead of rushing through moments, you'd savor them, knowing they're part of something eternal. Instead of holding back your gifts, you'd share them freely, trusting that they'll find their way to the people who need them most. You'd stop waiting for perfect opportunities to make an impact and start seeing every interaction as a chance to leave a mark of love and light. So, how do you begin to craft a legacy worth remembering? Start by asking yourself, what do I want to be remembered for? How do I want to make others feel? These questions guide you toward actions that align with your deepest values. Maybe it's being known as someone who listened without judgment. Maybe it's inspiring others to believe in themselves. Or maybe it's simply spreading joy wherever you go. Whatever it is, let it guide your choices, big and small. Over time, these intentional acts become the foundation of a life that leaves the world better than you found it. And here's the beauty of it. Legacy isn't reserved for extraordinary people. It's built by ordinary individuals who choose to live extraordinarily. Every smile you share, every hand you hold, every dream you encourage adds to the tapestry of humanity. You don't have to change the world overnight to leave a lasting impact. Sometimes the smallest gestures, a kind word, a thoughtful act, a moment of presence, are the ones that resonate the most deeply. They remind others of their worth, their strength, and their ability to keep going. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't need perfection from you. It needs your authenticity. It needs the unique gifts only you can bring. So today, take one step toward building a legacy that reflects the best of who you are. Trust that even the quietest acts of love have the power to echo through time. Keep showing up, keep giving, and remember, the greatest legacy you can leave is a life that inspires others to live theirs fully. After all, the impact you create today will continue to bloom in ways you may never see, but rest assured, it will. What does it feel like to know that your life is a gift, and that how you use it matters more than anything else? It's a realization that changes everything. When you truly grasp the sacredness of your existence, you begin to see each moment as an opportunity to create something meaningful. Life isn't just happening to you, it's happening through you. Every breath, every heartbeat, every sunrise is an invitation to step into your purpose and make the most of the time you've been given. And here's the truth. The way you choose to live, right now, today, determines the legacy you leave behind. Think about how a single drop of water can create ripples that spread across an entire pond. Your actions work the same way. The love you give, the effort you put forth, the energy you bring to the world, all of it radiates outward, touching lives in ways you may never fully understand. Human psychology shows us that people are deeply influenced by the emotions and intentions of those around them. When you show up with authenticity, passion, and kindness, you inspire others to do the same. In this way, your presence becomes a force for good, shaping the world in subtle yet profound ways. But here's the challenge. Living with intention requires awareness. It's easy to fall into autopilot, going through the motions without truly engaging with the moments that make up your life. Days turn into weeks, weeks into years, and before you know it, you've missed opportunities to connect, to grow, to contribute. Yet when you pause and ask yourself, am I living in alignment with what matters most? You awaken to the beauty of the present moment. You realize that life isn't about waiting for someday. It's about embracing now. Now imagine walking through life with this mindset. Imagine waking up each day knowing that your choices have the power to shape not only your own story, but also the stories of those around you. How might that change the way you spend your time? Instead of scrolling through distractions, you'd seek out meaningful connections. Instead of chasing fleeting pleasures, you'd invest in experiences that deepen your sense of purpose. You'd stop postponing joy and start savoring the simple blessings already within reach. A shared laugh, a quiet morning, a heartfelt conversation. These moments may seem small, but they're the building blocks of a life well lived. So, how do you live with greater intention? Start by setting priorities that reflect your values. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? Who do I want to be in this world? Let these answers guide your decisions, big and small. Maybe it's spending more quality time with loved ones. Maybe it's pursuing a passion that sets your soul on fire. Or maybe it's simply choosing to approach each day with gratitude and grace. Over time, these intentional choices become habits, weaving purpose into the fabric of your everyday life. And here's the beauty of it. When you live intentionally, you unlock a level of fulfillment that no external achievement can match. You stop measuring success by what you acquire and start valuing the impact you create. You realize that the greatest treasures in life aren't things, they're moments, relationships, and memories. And as you pour your energy into what truly matters, you'll notice something incredible happening. Your life begins to feel richer, fuller, and infinitely more worthwhile. Because here's the truth. Time is the one resource you can never get back. How you choose to spend it defines not only who you are, but also the mark you leave on the world. So today, take one step toward living more intentionally. Trust that even the smallest acts of love, courage, and authenticity have the power to transform both your life and the lives of others. Keep showing up, keep giving your best, and remember, the way you live today is the legacy you'll leave tomorrow. After all, the greatest gift you can offer the world is the fullness of yourself, exactly as you are right here, right now. What would it feel like to know that the life you're building today is a masterpiece in progress? It's not about perfection, it's about purpose. Every choice, every effort, every moment of faith adds another brush stroke to the canvas of your existence. And here's the truth. You don't have to see the entire picture to trust that it's beautiful. Life is an unfolding work of art, and you are both the artist and the creation. Each day offers a new opportunity to shape your story with intention, courage, and love. The question isn't whether you're capable of creating something extraordinary. You already are. The question is, will you embrace the process with all your heart? Think about how a sculptor approaches their craft. They start with raw material, unpolished, unformed, full of potential. With each strike of the chisel, they reveal more of the vision hidden within. Sometimes the process feels messy, even frustrating. Mistakes happen, edges need smoothing, and progress can seem slow. But through persistence and patience, the sculpture begins to emerge, a testament to dedication and belief in what's possible. Your life mirrors this journey. You are the sculptor, shaping your character, relationships, and dreams with every action you take. And while the final form may not yet be visible, trust that it's taking shape with every step you take. But here's the key. Embracing the process means celebrating the unfinished parts. It's easy to focus on what's lacking or what still needs to be done, but true fulfillment comes from appreciating where you are right now. Human psychology teaches us that people who practice self-compassion and gratitude experience greater resilience and joy. When you stop criticizing yourself for not being enough and start honoring the beauty of becoming, you unlock a deeper sense of peace. You realize that growth isn't about erasing flaws, it's about embracing them as part of your unique design. Now imagine living with this mindset every day. Imagine waking up knowing that imperfection is not only acceptable but essential to your journey. How might that change the way you approach challenges? Instead of fearing failure, you'd welcome it as proof that you're trying. Instead of comparing yourself to others, you'd focus on staying true to your own path. You'd stop waiting for validation from the outside world and instead find strength in the knowledge that your worth is inherent. It doesn't depend on external measures. Over time, this perspective transforms not only how you see yourself, but also how you interact with the world around you. So how do you fully commit to this journey of becoming? Start by giving yourself permission to evolve. Ask yourself, what am I willing to let go of to make room for growth? What dreams am I ready to nurture, even if they scare me? Let these questions guide you toward actions that align with your highest aspirations. Maybe it's releasing old fears that no longer serve you. Maybe it's daring to pursue a passion you've kept hidden. Or maybe it's simply choosing to show up authentically, without apology or hesitation. Whatever it is, trust that every act of courage brings you closer to the person you're meant to be. And here's the beauty of it. When you embrace the process, you free yourself from the pressure to arrive. Life isn't a race, it's a dance. There's no finish line to cross, no trophy to win. The reward lies in the movement itself, in the joy of creating something meaningful with the time you've been given. You begin to see that success isn't about achieving everything. It's about growing into someone who reflects love, resilience, and purpose. And as you continue down this path, you'll notice something remarkable happening. The fear of uncertainty fades, replaced by excitement for what's next. Because here's the truth. The life you're building isn't just for you. It's a gift to the world. Every act of kindness, every moment of courage, every decision to live with integrity adds light to the collective human experience. So today, take one step forward. Not because you have to, but because you choose to. Trust that the masterpiece you're creating is worth every ounce of effort, every tear shed, every leap of faith. Keep going, keep believing, and remember, the most extraordinary thing about your journey is that it's yours alone. No one else could create it quite like you, and that above all else makes it priceless.